we left off on problem 8 from last time, and we also did not do 5. We'll have time to do that today as well. The way you start these problems is by writing the equation of a circle. Do you have the equation of a circle in your notes from last time?
Yep, I have it.
Can you read it out loud to me, please?
I do have it. Hello?
Yep, I'm waiting for you to read it out loud.
Yeah. Center -1, 2, point on circle set
No,
-7.
Sourish, I'm asking for the equation of a circle. The equation of a circle.
The equation of circle.
Yes, the general form of an equation of a circle. We wrote it down. I'll bet we wrote it down 6 times in our last lesson.
Yeah, I know the equation of circle. It's like the equation of the circle. It's like center and radius.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna open up our notes from last time so I can show you where it is, because I don't think you have it written down. So let's go back and look and see where that is. Learning, lessons, notes. I can tell you're tired. You know, we can make this lesson.
I'm not tired.
Okay, we can make this lesson fast by getting through all the problems, or it can be slow if we don't get through all the problems.
We can make it faster.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share our lesson notes from last time. So if you're seeing my screen, you're seeing our lesson here. This thing boxed in right here is the equation of a circle, the general form of a circle. All right, do you have that written down in your notes?
Okay, let me write that down. Okay, yeah, I got it down.
Okay, so when I'm asking you for the equation of a circle, I'm asking you for this equation that's in this box here. So I'm going to go back to the other screen, and I'll do the same thing. I'll just ask you for the equation of the circle. Can you give me that equation, Sourish?
Equation of circle. All
Yes.
right, I know that. So for
Well, you just wrote it down. You said
x
you said,
minus h,
okay,
x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared.
perfect. Very good. Okay. Like if that was the only thing you took away from the other lesson, that's perfect. Okay. Now the center is given as h and then k. So in your problem, h is -1 and k is 2.
Yeah.
All right. So we can put those into the equation. X minus a -1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals r squared. Now, do you recall what we do about the double negative?
Double negative. Yes, you have to replace that into a positive.
Yes, it becomes positive here. So I'm trying to get a little more room. Why is it not doing that? Okay. So that becomes x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals r squared. So we only have one thing left to find. We have to find the radius of the circle. Now, in the last lesson, a lot of times the radius was given, but this time we're going to find the radius by finding the distance between these 2 points. Do you remember us talking about the distance formula last time?
Yeah.
Okay, so the distance formula is y2 minus y1 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared square rooted. All right, so I've tried to help you out here by labeling the points. What is the value of y2, Sourish?
Y2 is 9.
Okay, minus y1
minus 2
squared plus what is x2?
-7.
Okay, minus what is x1?
-1.
-1, good. Okay, what is 9 minus 2, Sourish?
9 minus 2, that is 7.
7 squared what happens when you have a double negative?
When you have a double negative, you have to replace that into a positive.
Okay, so what is -7 plus 1?
I'm gonna write that down. First, let me write that down.
Okay.
Okay. Now, -7 plus 1, -7 plus 1 is -6.
Okay, very good. So now we just have to add these two numbers together. So 7 squared is 49, -6 squared is 36, and we add those together, and this gives you the square root of 85. This is the radius. The radius is the square root of 85.
Okay, that's the real answer.
Well, that's the radius. Okay. So let me know when you get this down.
Got it down.
Okay. So now we're going to go back. We're going to go back to this line right here. I'm going to copy it down. Remember how we were missing the radius? We were missing
Yeah.
the radius in this line, but
Yeah.
our radius is the square root of 85. So we're going to put that value in for r, the square root of 85 squared. So you're taking the square root of 85 and you're plugging it in for r.
Mm-hmm.
A square root is undone by a square. The square undoes the square root. They undo each other. So this becomes just 85 on the right, and then x plus 1 squared, y minus 2 squared, and this is your final answer.
Okay. Let me write that down.
Okay, sounds good. Let me know when you've got that down, and we'll look at another question.
Okay, got it down.
All right, so now we're going to move on to question 5.
Yeah.
All right, so question 5, the center is 0, 0, and a point on the circle is 4, 0. Okay, and I'm going to ask you, just like I did in the last problem, what is the general form of the equation of a circle, Sourish? What is the general form for the equation of a circle?
An equation of a circle. Yes, the general equation for the equation of a circle. What I told you is x minus a squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared.
Very good. Okay, h is 0 and k is 0.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to put those values in for h and k. So this becomes x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals r squared.
Okay.
All right, now what is x minus 0? What does that simplify to?
Okay, let me write that down.
Okay, you get that written down, and we'll continue.
Okay, now, all right, I did it.
So I'm asking you now to tell me what is x minus 0?
That is that is 0.
No, it's not 0, because you're not starting with 0. What are you starting with?
X minus 0.
Yes, so when you subtract 0, it becomes whatever you started with.
X.
It's x, that's right. So this becomes x squared. What is y minus 0?
Y minus 0, Y.
Y squared equals. Now, to find the radius, okay, to find the radius, we have to determine the distance between the 2 points. So we're going to use the distance formula again. Distance formula is the square root of y2 minus y1 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared. This is
Okay.
x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so what is the
Y2
value?
it's 0.
0
Y1 is
minus,
0.
okay.
X2 is 4, and X1 is 0.
All right, so 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 squared is 0. What is 4 minus 0, Sourish?
Hold on, I need to write this down.
Okay, you get it down?
That's 4.
4. So 4 squared is
Mm-hmm.
16. Square root of 16 is 4. And that is your radius.
Okay, got it down.
Okay, now your radius is what goes back into this line right here, or this line that I'm highlighting. It's r squared though, so it's 4 squared.
Okay. All right.
So this is your final answer here, just to be clear. That's the final answer.
Okay, got it down.
Fantastic. All right. So we're gonna look at the next grouping of questions 9, 10, 11, and 12. We're gonna start with 10 though, and there's a reason why. So I'm gonna grab 10 and snip that into our workspace here. All right, so here's number 10. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna write the equation of a circle underneath it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to highlight some things that are very important here. So let's start with H. H is right here. H is above it. Okay.
Mhm.
K is here on the right, and then 9 is above it. Now, do you also see that it's subtract and subtract here, and then subtract and subtract here?
Okay.
Basically, I'm asking you, Sourish, do you see that it's exactly like the standard form? Like H is really 2 and K is really 9. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And it's because these signs match up.
Okay.
So H is 2 and K is 9.
Okay.
Let me
Okay,
know
got
when
it
you're
now.
ready. Okay. So now the last piece is we want to solve for r squared or r. We want to solve for r. So you set r squared equal to 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to solve this equation. So what it's really a question here. It's what number squared is 4? What number do you multiply by itself to get 4?
One number right there. One number is squared is 4. 2.
2. So r is 2.
Mhm. Okay.
All right, so that is only part of the question here. So I'm gonna snip in the question here so that we can make sure we have everything that it asks for. So it asks you for the center, which you now have. The center is 2 comma 9.
Mhm.
The radius is 2. But what else is it asking for?
What else is asking?
What have I highlighted here?
You highlighted and name 2 points that lie on each circle. You have to name 2.
Yeah,
Wow.
and this is the hardest part. This is what's going to take us a little bit of time to figure out. All right, so I'm going to help you, of course. That's why you definitely need some extra paper here. Okay, to do this, we're going to first let x equal 2. And
Okay.
so we're gonna put 2 in for x. 2 minus 2 squared plus y minus 9 squared equals 4. So all I'm doing is just putting 2 in for x, and then we're going to simplify. Let me
Okay.
know.
Should I write that down?
Yes.
Okay, got it down.
All right, now we're going to start simplifying. What is 2 minus 2?
Okay. 2 minus 2 is 0.
So 0 squared is 0. So notice that it effectively goes away. Like you can just ignore that term.
Yep.
So what you're left with is y minus 9 squared equals 4.
Mm-hmm.
So to solve this, you're going to take a square root of both sides. What is the square root of 4? You already told me, but just tell me one more time.
The square root of 4 is 2.
It's 2. And then the square root undoes the square, so the left side just becomes y minus 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add 9 to both sides,
Yeah.
and you get y equals 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so this is one way to do the problem. This is let x equals 2 and y becomes 11. But there is another way. Okay, so I'd like to show that to you next. Give me just a moment to show this to you. So I'm going to get my Desmos graphing tool up.
Okay.
We've used Desmos before, haven't we?
We did that one.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to share the graphing calculator here. So I'll wait until you can see my screen. Yep, you can see my screen. So here's what I'm going to do, Sourish. I'm going to graph the equation.
Okay.
Okay. And if I've graphed it correctly, I go to the center. We already found that the center is 2 comma 9.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah. Will you excuse me? I'll be right back.
Sure.
All right, I'm back. 'Cause,
Okay, are you
yeah, it's
seeing?
really like yeah. I did Desmos when I was like in eighth grade.
Yes. So here's what
I
I've
was
done.
like
Good.
I was like 14 years old. That's I did Desmos.
It probably seems like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so notice that I've graphed the equation of the circle and then I've graphed the center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if I just zoom in here on this point right here, the center, if I go to the right, sorry, the grid's not quite right. If I go to the right 2 places, okay, do you see how I get a point on the right of the circle?
Mm-hmm.
So notice that 4, 9 is to the right of the circle because the radius takes you out 2 units to the right. I can similarly go left 2 units.
Okay.
Okay. I can also from the center go up 2 units, or I can go down 2 units. So there's 2 ways to do this. There's 2 ways to name 2 points that lie on each circle. One is to do it by hand, which takes a while. And the other way is to graph it and then figure out which points are up, down, left, and right. So I'm going to snip this picture back into our workspace here. Let me switch screens to that.
Okay.
All right. And you can see that like here are some possibilities for some other points for that circle.
Okay.
All right. So let's look at number 11 next.
Mm-hmm.
And let me know if you need a short break. I know we're
I'll
doing a
just have a
lot of.
short break.
Okay. I will check back with you at 7:33.
Okay.
Hey, Sourish, I'm back. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're going to start by writing the equation of a circle underneath the one that's given here. Y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, so notice that this is different than the previous problem. See how the plus and the minus are opposite signs this time?
yeah.
See how these are opposite signs? So h is not 8, it's the opposite of 8. Okay, let me go back and show you that in the previous problem here. See how these signs were the same? So h was 2. Do you
H plus
follow?
2.
Do you see how h is the value of 2 here because the negatives are the same sign? Do you see how it's a negative and negative?
Yeah,
So h is 2. But in your new problem here, they're opposite in sign. So h is not 8, h is actually negative 8. So whenever these signs don't match, you have to change the sign for the value of h.
okay.
Now let's look over here to the right, plus 3 and minus k. Are these same sign or are they opposite in sign?
They're opposite.
They're opposite. So that means that k is not 3, k is negative 3. It's a very important distinction. Like, it just being off by a sign is a big deal because you're in the wrong part of the graph when you're looking at this. So finally, you solve this equation. You set r squared equal to 100. Can you tell me what value of r, when you square it, gets you to 100? What is the value of r?
The value of R. The value of R. The value of R right there is, or it is 10.
Very good. Awesome. Okay, so now let's go to Desmos. I'll new share Desmos here again.
Hold on, I need to write that down.
Okay, go ahead and get that down.
So for 10, the answer is 2.
For 10, there are a couple of things that you'd have to do. For 10, you need to identify the center, which is 2 comma 9, the radius, which is 2. Do you have that down?
Yeah.
Okay, and then name 2 points that lie on the circle. So you have to choose to write down 2 of these points here. And there's actually one more on the right here. This last one is 4 comma 9. So you have to just write down 2 of those.
Yeah, okay. Let me just okay. So it's 4, 9, right?
Well, it's any of these points would be okay. They're all on the circle. See how
Can we go back to the problem number 11?
up, down, left, and right? Okay, so let's look at your problem here. So you need to identify the center of the circle. The center is h comma k, but we know those values. H is negative 8 and k is negative 3.
Okay.
And the radius is 10.
The radius is 10. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Any questions on what we did so far?
Any questions? No.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Desmos and we're going to graph the equation of the circle. All right, so can you read me the equation of the circle for number 11?
Equation of the circle.
Yes, what is the equation of the circle for number 11?
Number 11. It's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared.
I'm asking for the one that's given in the problem.
Oh, x plus h squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 100.
Okay, very good. So now I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. What is the center of this circle, Sourish? What point did we say is at the center?
The point that we say at the center.
Yes.
The point that we said in the center is
You said you just wrote this down.
yeah,
Okay, what is
it's
the
10.
center? It is not 10. What is the center of the circle? It's an ordered pair.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yes, think I might as well got it. Is it like 0, 0?
It is not 0, 0.
What?
I'm getting the impression that maybe you're not writing down what we're talking about, which is not good.
No, I have them down. Like, are you saying like the center? You
Yeah.
haven't even told me about the center. Like, oh, wait a minute. I think I got it. I think I got it.
What is the center?
The center, I know what that is. It's -3, 8.
Okay, so let me put that in there. -3, 8. Okay, is that the center? Is that point right there the center of the circle?
Yes.
Are you sure you're looking at the screen?
No,
Because
no.
okay, because I don't think so. It should be over here, somewhere more in this middle point.
Yeah, I thought I saw it. Like, I thought I saw like seeing your cursor, that you're using your cursor.
Okay, so you want to try again with the center?
Yeah.
What is the center of the circle?
8, -3. Let's try it out.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to the other screen, and I did write this down. Either you didn't understand or you didn't get it written down. This says center right here. Can you tell me what's to the right of center? What do I have written down here?
H and K.
And then I gave you the values of H. See how H is -8 and K is -3. This is the center of the circle, Sourish.
Oh,
Did you write this down?
I'm writing it down. Where's my pencil? I'm trying to find my pencil.
Okay, get your pencil, get that written down. We'll keep going here.
Okay, got that.
All right, so I'm going to go back to the other screen. And you're going to tell me the correct center of the circle. What's the center of the circle?
The center of the circle is -8, -3.
Very good. Okay, so that's the center. It's the center of the circle right there. Boom, we got it. Okay. Now we're going to go up 10. We're going to go up 10. All right. So if we go up 10, do you agree that that point is on the circle?
That point is on the circle.
Is that point on the circle?
Yes.
Okay. And all I did is go from the center. I went up 10.
Okay.
Okay. So now we can also go down 10 from the center. So if we go down 10 from the center, is that point also on the circle?
Closer. Yes.
Well, it either is or it isn't. It's either on the circle or it's not. Is that point on the circle?
It's on the circle.
Yes, it is. You can also go from the center and go to the right. Okay. So this first one, we went up. Second one, we went down. Now we're going to go to the right from the center. So that's 2, -3. Do you see how this point over here is to the right of the center?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's on the circle. It's right.
Okay.
We can also go left. We can also go left of center.
Left of center. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And that point right there is left. So no
Okay.
matter the circle, whenever you get the center, you can always go up, down, left, and then right.
Okay. All right. And that's how it is.
That's how it is. So here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to the other screen, and I'm going to snip in the circle, which you'll see is already there. And then I'm going to label those points for you. So the one that's up is -8, 7. The one that's down is -8, comma, -13. And the one that's to the right is 2, comma, -3. And the one that's to the left is -18, comma, -3. So if you look back at the instructions where it says you need 2 points, if you need 2 points, basically they're just saying, give me 2 of these 4 points. You have to write those down.
Okay. Should I write this down?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Got it down.
You got it down. Fantastic. Okay. So let's look at number 9 now.
All right.
I'm going to grab question 9. Okay, and I'm going to write the standard form below it. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Right, so we're going to look at this part right here that I'm circling in red. Is this the same sign?
Is this the same sign?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the value of h when they're the same sign?
The value of h is positive, and it's supposed to be h. And it's 12.
Positive 12, yes. Now over here on the right are these same sign.
Yes.
Are you looking at my screen?
Yeah.
Are these the same sign?
No.
No, they're not. So when they're opposite in sign, you have to change the value. So what is the value of k?
5. 5. -5?
-5, yeah. Okay, because when they're opposite in sign, you have to switch k to the other side. Lastly here, what value do you square to get 64?
What value do you square to get 64? That's 8.
All right, very good. Okay, is your dad available for some feedback? Is he around tonight?
Wait, are we done? Are we going to be doing more of this?
We can spend a couple more minutes, but just do you know if your dad is
Maybe
around?
maybe this is enough for me. Maybe because I think it's going to take a long time. Maybe this is enough for me.
Is your dad around to give him some feedback?
Yeah, Dad.
Okay.